Informational program. The views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the staff, management, or advertisers of WOBL Radio.
This is Seto's Cornhole Corner with Seto Soto.
What's happening? Welcome to Seto's Cornhole Corner. First time on the WOBL website and on the radio live. What's up, my main man, Rivera?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's going to be some hiccups. Dave, what's up, baby? How are you?
So I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be a part of your show. I wanted to be on here to introduce Cornhole to our listeners here on WOBL. I know a lot of people know about Cornhole. They think it's just a backyard barbecue game. But you, my friend, are a professional. So we brought you on the show. It's your show. You're going to tell us about the events going on in Northeast Ohio. You're going to be talking to us about the national stage of Cornhole. I'm pretty proud to say I don't know many people that have their own video game. You're in a video game for the ACL, American Cornhole League video game, so that's pretty cool. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. I just want to introduce our listeners on the sports side about Cornhole, so that's why I'm here. But this is Seto's show, and we're going to have fun today for this next hour.
Hey, thank you guys for bringing me on. Thank you for welcoming to the WOBL Gold Country. I think this is going to be really cool. It's going to be awesome. You're going to get some nice feedback from you listeners that are out there listening to us, and some good insight from ACL Pro.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of the sponsors that I want you to talk about. And also, we need to tell people, you're listening to us here on the radio, but you can also watch us because we are streaming live on WOBL's YouTube page. So if you want to take a look at the show from a video perspective, you can do that as well. Seto has his banner going across the screen with all the different sponsors, so he'll go through those for the radio side to let everybody know who is sponsoring him. But you can definitely tune in and watch us, and we appreciate the people watching on YouTube at WOBL and then listening across the world on WOBLradio.com as well locally here in Lorain County.
I think that's pretty sweet, guys. And yes, we have BG Cornhole, which is local here to Ohio. It's bgcornhole.com. Go check those out. You can get your bags. You can get some clothing. You can get all that stuff. Right now, I'm wearing an American Cornhole League Pro jersey for those that are watching on YouTube now. But like he said, if you guys want to tune in, check us out. We'll be on Facebook as well, live. We're going to be on the YouTube channel on the WOBL network, so go check that out. And we're going to be streaming all over the country, so check it out. We got all kinds of things going to go on. We got Gladiator Cornhole that is joining us. We got Buddies. I don't know if you guys know Slam Buddies. Those guys are really cool. They make really lifelike stuffed animals for you guys, for your kids and everything.
We got to stop and we got to go right into those Slam Buddies, because I'm going to paint a picture for people. Back in the 1980s, WWF had the Slam Buddies. You had the Hulk Hogan. It was these little stuffed animals that you could take around the house and wrestle and jump off the couch and do an elbow. And now you got those guys representing the American Cornhole League. and we got Seto over here getting his arm bit off by the dog.
The dog, yes. But you know what? That was one of my things that I wanted to do and bring out to some of the kids that watch Cornhole, that are fans of Cornhole. And I put these mystery boxes together, and it was one of those things I just gave away. I bought these as a just novelty, just kind of cool. And you know what? The dog ate it. So it's like really cool to see that. You know, we're represented by Triple Threat Cornhole, which is a cornhole game that we're trying to get out. It has 3 holes. You can play golf. You can play cornhole. You can play baseball on it. You can play different kind of backyard games. And like Dave said, you know what? This ain't a backyard game anymore. We play with bags that you can wash and clean and dry in a dryer. You can do whatever you want. Get them dirty and then go and wash them the next day. And you can still play with them. They're going to be great. They're not corn anymore. They're a synthetic bead that goes in them. All bags are 1 pound and 6x6 square. Are what the bags are supposed to represent.
Right.
Boards are made out of 2x4s, you know what I mean? So it's 2 foot by 4 foot square. Rectangle or whatever you want to call it.
I got tons of questions here for you, man, because I know a lot of the listeners have the same questions that I did preparing for this interview here with you. And let's just start from the beginning, man. Tell us about the origin of this game, cornhole, because I know it goes back far into the German descent is where they were originally given credit to it. But right here in Ohio, there's a city down south that is considered to be home of cornhole.
Cincinnati, Ohio, and Ohio State and Kentucky borders, where cornhole originated from, that we play today, not that we played in the 1930s.
Yeah.
You know, what we play today originated in Cincinnati. And some guys put the board together, put a hole in the middle, and I think they were actually made 2x3s instead of 2x4s. So they were 2x3 foot instead of 2x4 foot. So they were actually smaller, and they were made for specific tailgating. So when you went to football games, baseball games, you see these guys out there playing, and they had those little smaller boards.
Don't get too far ahead, because that's coming up later on as far as the different sizes and dimensions of the board. Because I didn't realize there was different sizes. I thought they were all regulation size. But let's go back to the name cornhole, because that has some a little bit of history and discrepancy as well, because it's been called different things throughout the past, and now it's sitting on the cornhole game, but it was called hillbilly horseshoes, beanbag toss.
Oh, there was all kinds of different games. It was beanbag toss, bag toss, beanbag game, bag game, tailgate toss, soft horseshoes again, hillbilly toss, like you said, Chuck O and Doghouse, to give a game, to give a couple names here and there, you know what I mean?
On how the name cornhole really originated. It didn't start off as cornhole, and now I'm glad it's evolved into that name compared to what we used earlier.
Yeah, some people still want to be nasty and say cornhole is one of those things that, you know, you're not supposed to be doing on live, you know. Cornhole, but we love the game cornhole. Cornhole is a great game. And of course, 90% of all players played in the backyard, like your parties, July 4th parties, birthday parties, all those kinds of things.
But now you see it on ESPN. And that's when it started to get everybody's attention is, all right, it's 4th of July, we're cooking out, and now I'm watching cornhole here on ESPN. Tell us about how the national spotlight has really helped elevate this game.
So the American Cornhole League was made up by Stacy Moore. He is the commissioner of the American Cornhole League. Started it back in 2016. He also owned a place called it was Backyard Game Tailgating, and so he originated that first, and then he came to the American Cornhole League, what it is today. 2016, 2017 was our inaugurated season, and at that time, there was 124 that played in the first tournament in Cherokee, North Carolina, and then it originated where he had people sign contracts to become a pro. I was originally one of the first 24 to sign as a pro. Back there in 2016, 2017. And then we were invited to the ESPN studios, and just all heck broke loose after that.
So you personally were in Bristol, Connecticut?
No, not Bristol, Connecticut.
Where'd you go?
It was North Carolina, or Cherokee, North Carolina.
So that's where they had their local.
The very first local tournament, yes.
Wow, so you got to actually see the ESPN studios,
yes.
and see where it all originated. And,
yes.
when I was looking at the different types of, there's either singles, there's doubles, and then we were also talking about, okay, what's the score? And somebody said, I think you go to 21. And you do go to 21, but now here's something interesting. What's an inning? I've never heard of an inning in cornhole.
Well, we're talking about 12 rounds, 10-round games. So 10-round games is, if you're playing partners with me, we're going down 5 times and that's it. We're done. 5 times.
Okay.
So your first toss, and then you throw it back. Your second toss, that's 2 rounds.
So it's almost like how they speeded up baseball and did a pitch clock. This is cornhole's pitch clock.
It's kind of something like that. they felt like the national spotlight, we wanted to get more games out there. So on CBS, when we're playing on NBC or ESPN,
they wanted to
shorten it
because of America's attention span nowadays.
Yes,
Same thing with baseball that they keep saying. Is the attention span is just not what it used to be to sit there and watch 3.5 hours of baseball. Now it's 2 hours and 30 minutes, and look, it's been great so far.
What's really cool is you can watch all types of guys playing cornhole, right?
Yeah.
So we do not differ. We have a senior division, we have a kids division, which is a youth division, and we have some kids playing in the pro division that's 16 years old that won the national. You know what I mean? Like
you mentioned the older woman who is in the league and 70 years old.
Yeah, she's 72. Sandra Prinky, she's out of Ohio here. She plays in the Speakeasy cornhole over there, and she's just a 72-year-old lady. I guarantee you she can knock out anybody outside. She is such a super player outside. And then we have a 9-year-old that plays, you know. So we have the whole spectrum. But there was a game, interesting enough. This is probably one of the reasons why we went to a 12-round game. It was 298 bags in a row in the hole.
Wow.
So, you know, just imagine playing a game for an hour and a half and making 298 bags during that.
Yeah.
Between the both of them. So, and it was one of the best games because you've seen slide, airmail, block, push, all these different terms, which you guys will learn as you guys listening to different terms of the game.
I think we need to get a list of all those terms, and then we need to put them on the screen so everybody who's watching on WOBL on the YouTube page can actually see the different terms that you guys all have.
Yes, and there's all kinds. I mean, we have a term called the bar of soap. We got a term called the squirrel.
So hold on. So what's a bar of soap in the cornhole world?
All right, the bar of soap is where a block bag is in front of the hole.
Okay.
And a person comes with either a slide push and knocks that bag off the back and not to go in the hole, and your bag will go in the hole. That's called a bar of soap. And then we have an and one because, you know, everybody needs an and one, right?
Yeah.
So an and one is an airmail, and a bag would be on the back of the board next to the hole, and the airmail will hit that board and knock that bag off. And then you would go in, and then you would actually get an and one for that. You know what I mean?
Because there's so many different strategies as far as the game of cornhole goes. You were mentioning, you know, you want to score, but you can also play defense in cornhole too, right?
That's defense is a blocker bag. When you're trying to play defense, you're trying to get that guy off his rhythm. So by blocking the hole, which you have different levels of blocks. You have a 3-level block, which is up front towards the hole. You got a 2-level block, which is in the middle, and then you got a 1-level block that's on top. And everybody wants it to look like a V. So your bag looks like the V and the point, because it's harder for an opponent to hit that bag without going to the left or the right if you have a different spin. So now people are using a roll shot to get over it, which is another term, which is crazy because now these bags are rolling over a bag to go in and tumble into a hole. And so obviously we're going to have some outdoor event and at the WOBL studios, and those that want to watch and see some of these shots can come up to here, and you guys will be able to watch that. And we'll have some clips on the YouTube channel and Facebook that you can see players play. So if you want to watch and not just listen, you can tune in and check it out too.
Well, we're going to see if we can bring you to the Lorain County Fair this year with us in August, and we'll see if people can beat a pro at a couple tosses of some beanbag toss or cornhole, whatever you'd like to call it. But
no, it's cornhole. We're going to call it that.
We're definitely gonna bring Seto around as part of our sports crew here for WOBL, because he brings an expertise that none of us can say we have. I seen they were talking about different strategies of how you throw. So they were saying people will hold the bag in whichever arm that they throw in, but then in the opposite arm, they'll hold something to counterset them or off balance them.
One of the best players in the world plays with a beer in his hand.
See?
And this is no shape when we play in American Cornhole, I'm going to tell you right now, we do drink. There is no stopping our drinking. We will drink on the stage. We'll drink in our little cups that we have, but we're drinking 90% of the time. There's some sober guys that don't drink, which is fine. If you don't drink and partake, that's okay. If you do, you're fine. You're going to fit right in. And yes, like you said, it's a counterweight for him. If he's drinking too fast, then he kind of has to balance it. So he has to fill up his cup a little bit more so he can balance it. But it is a balance thing. So some people choose to have their bags in their hand as well and then throw. Some people don't. They like to play with their bags and move them around with both hands, and they leave the last three on the board.
A lot of superstition in throwing.
You know, there's a lot of things. Baseball has so many different characteristics of baseball. Like, nobody wants to break the chalk line, you know, when they clone over. So it's kind of like baseball. Everybody has their own little rituals that they do. I know a guy in Ohio, Mike Pfaff, he always played with his hat, played with his pocket, and when he went to throw, he always fixed his hat, and then when he would throw, you know. Some people, I have a few, I flip my hand. I pat my bags flat first, and then I flip it about 3 or 4 times to get it comfortable in my hand. Mm-hmm. And then when I go to throw, I don't have a step, but I have a waddle. So both my feet kind of waddle back and forth. So I kind of throw it that way. Some people like to take a big step. Rosie Streaker out in Florida, which is going to be one of the guests on the show. She likes to step from the back of the board, way back in the board, and she steps almost halfway, and then she throws her bag. So, I mean, there is imaginary line that you're not supposed to cross. Now, that's it's a rule that you're not supposed to cross that line, but if it's a carryover throw where your bag is released before you cross that line, it's illegal. It's legal. But if you throw the bag and you touch it, or go past the line and you still have the bag in your hand, that's an illegal throw. You lose 6 points.
Ooh.
You know, if you grab bags off the board, you lose 12 points. So whatever you have in the hole minus 12 points, that's what you end up getting. So you could change the trajectory of a game. You could lose a whole round if you do that sometimes, So there's a lot of rules, regulations. You can go on the iPlayCornhole.com website. You can look at all the nationals that are coming up. You can look at all the tournaments that we play out throughout the year. If we're in your town and you want to see us, you can come check us out. We're going to be in Canton this year for one of the Opens, so that's going to be exciting for Ohio.
So we'll take a break here, and then when we come back, we'll tell people how they can get involved, how they can interact with the Cornhole League. Like you mentioned, we'll give out some more websites on how you can be involved and get more information. This is the first show that we're having. It's Seto's Cornhole Corner here on WOBL. When we come back, we'll toss some more bags.
Gladiator Cornhole gear, developed by pros with all players in mind. Home of the original patented Cornhole glove, battle bag, and emerald cut ACL stamped Pro Cornhole bag. Save 10% now. Enter code Seto C10 at checkout. GladiatorCornholeGear.com. Fear the glove.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back to Seto's Cornhole Corner. This part is brought to you by Cornhole Solutions out in Tennessee. If you want your boards, bags, and mini boards and all kinds of different else, go check out cornholesolutions.com and he'll hook you up. Just tell him Seto sent you and you'll get hooked up. So we were talking about games, and we're talking about the history of cornhole. We were talking about
the size of the bags, 1 pound bags, 16 ounces.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah, you're listening.
And then we had one of our guests call in and say, well, what is the size of the boards, Seto?
Okay, the size of the boards are 2x4. So, I mean, 2 foot by 4 feet. All right. They're made out of birch, poplar wood, which is a strong hardwood for those that know how to build. They have 2-inch frames around the whole board, and they are set 27 feet front to front. So from one front to the board to the other front of the board is 27 feet. Hole to hole is actually 33 feet, and a court is a 3x8 section. So if you put the board in the middle of a 3x8, that is our playing field. So we're allowed to step out 3 foot from the edge of the board. We're allowed to step out and throw. And then that's where your playing field is it's about 6x8, I think. It's carpet that we play on. So 6x8, so put the board right in the middle of there. And then you can step out 3 feet and actually throw to make your bags do what you want it to do, to get around another bag, to do your flop shot, do your roll shots. You know, we talked about all those things. You know, so if you're playing in the backyard and you think you're good, make sure you go to clevelandcornhole.com, check out their tournaments. We have 4 areas that we play out throughout the season. We play on Mondays, Thursdays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Right now, we're going to be playing outside. Second week of June starts. We're going to be playing at Rookies Sports Bar and Grill out in Parma. And then we also play at Flyers Sports Bar and Grill in Parma Heights. We play outside. We play all kinds of different games. So go check that out if you guys want to check it out.
What's your preference, Seto? Do you like playing indoors or outdoors better?
You know what? To me, since I've been a pro for a little while, it doesn't really matter inside, outside. I love the elements playing outside. I love what it brings. Our very first cornhole tournament was in Florida, outside, in the rain, with 35-mile-an-hour winds.
Okay, that was my next question. Is there like a weather delay or a rain delay?
No, there wasn't. We played. If you guys want to look it up, you guys can look it up on YouTube. Look up the Florida tournament for the American Cornhole League. Adam Hisser was playing with Cody Henderson and Jamie Graham against I forget the other guy's name, but they were playing, and they were wringing out their bags because the bags were so wet. And it was the most exciting game.
And you got to think the bags were heavier then.
Oh, obviously
it would make it harder to throw.
Yes, but the bags, believe it or not, back then were made out of polyester and suede. All right, so suede and polyester is what they were played with now. And then today's game, you got microfiber carpet. You got, all kinds of different games, fast bags, slow bags, all kinds of different things. And people are being genius. Like, it's crazy amount of different companies out there. I would say there's probably over 50 cornhole companies out there that make bags for the pro division, the ACL, the pro division. And then there's probably 100 of those that aren't stamped or aren't anything, so they don't play with those. If you wanted American Cornhole League stamped bags, you got to go check out Cornhole Coastal out from Florida. You got BG Cornhole, who I represent, BG Cornhole. You got Cornhole Solutions, you got West
Cornhole
Georgia
Solutions. I liked they did that board for you. That was for the station, the WOBL board.
Yeah, the mini boards.
Yeah, and that came out really cool. You presented that to our owner, Gary Tollett, and then that's the picture that we use for all the social media stuff. And they just did a phenomenal job with the detail in that board, the colors, the graphics, everything, man. Shout out to Cornhole Solutions.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that's imprinted. So it's a UV printed board. It's not a graphic.
It's not a sticker.
It's not a sticker. These things are imprinted on the boards, and those were mini boards. So that is a third of a real size board, just so you know. And you play with those 13.5 feet instead of 27 feet. So it's 13.5 feet. You place them, front to front.
The mini boards.
So there's all kinds of, there's training boards, there's mini boards, there's, all kinds of those different boards. Plus, they come with score towers and everything like that. And you're looking at an average price for a mini board is $175.
Wow.
And a pro board that you can buy from the American Cornhole League, which Cornhole makes and stuff, those are $425 for a set of boards.
So that leads me to my next question, because a lot of people kept asking, should we leave our boards outside in the rain? Well, let me just tell you from experience, no, don't do that. I did that to a set I had, and I went back out there the next night and forget about it. It was over.
The difference between our boards is they're polyurethane. Over and over and over, everything is polyurethane. The sides are polyurethane. The boards are polyurethane. I was told by one of the guys that used to make it, TJ Petrie, used to make boards. He's the original owner of BG Boards before Rich and Graham took over. But he made boards. He put them outside for 3 years.
Wow.
And nothing happened to him.
Because of that polyurethane.
Because of the polyurethane. So, everybody has their own ways of doing things, But the ingenuity that it takes to make a set of boards doesn't sound like it's hard, doesn't sound like it's difficult. But to play with the pro boards that we have, that we play with, are next to none. The playing of them, they don't stick that much. They go either fast or slow. They adhere to the humidity. So some bags might be slow. Some bags might be fast. Some boards might play fast. Some boards might play sticky. And most bags have two different sides. So you have a fast side on usually one side and then a sticky side on another.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And those sticky sides can range from anywhere from a 2-stick to a 3-stick. And then on the fast side, it could go from an 8 to a 9.
Wow.
On a speed.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a game and you're warming up, you want to try to throw on a sticky side to see how sticky the board is, and on a fast side to see how fast the side. So when you're playing a game, so you were playing me, you're allowed to have one down and back, which is a practice round. So you're allowed to go down one time and then down back if you're playing singles, right? So you can throw back. So you can see how the boards play right before you play. But the 4 bags that you play with are the 4 bags that you have to play with that whole game. You can't switch with another 4 bags.
Yeah.
But people want that change because they want to adhere to the change of the boards.
Right.
But during a game, once you start a game, you got to finish that game with the same boards or the same bags. So, it's a lot to learn. It's a lot of fun. We are all over the country. You were talking about all over the country.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're in Europe. We're going to Greece. They're going to play in Greece. They're going to play in Australia. They're going to play in Canada, which we just did an Open in Canada, which brought in 150 players. I mean, the goal is to, play in the Olympics one day. Stacey Moore, that's one of his goals, and we're doing it right now with Cornhole.
Let's talk about purses. What's the purse size, man? How much money can you make really at this game?
There's 4 tournaments that equal up $1 million.
Wow.
All right. So there's $1 million prize pool, and that's just the beginning. Like this one in Corpus Christi is the what we call the national kickoff, and it's the kickoff battle, and it starts. This one is actually $65,000 on the line for the total purses for that. And again, these players take it seriously. Like a lot of these players are traveling every week to go to a tournament, to get better, to do this, to that. There's things that are called opens where people can play of all opens. We have 6 different divisions, You can play from an intermediate all the way to the pro division, and you can get up, you know what I mean? If you win intermediate and you win the championship, you get moved up to competitive. You win that one, you get moved up to the advanced division, and you get that one, you move up to the pro division, So
how many guys are going for the 65,000 in Corpus Christi?
Probably over 100.
Wow.
Players trying to go.
Do you think that's pretty good odds?
It's over 100 players. So I mean, we have, in Corpus Christi we have 256 pros. All right. So out of those 256 pros, we also have what they have PDC players, which is the players that are on the bubble becoming a pro.
The fringe.
It's kind of like the AAA of baseball.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's a good way to put it.
So those are the waiting guys are waiting to get to pro division. So if one pro can't make a national, these guys step up and they go play. So they're always on call, like the week of, like, oh, hey, you got the call. Come on up. Just like baseball,
they're waiting for that call. They want that call.
They want that call. You know what I mean? So put it this way. You can win $50,000 in one tournament.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Doubles and $25,000 for singles. You know, and that's a changed lifetime, right? Mm-hmm. Right? You will go and play. But don't get me wrong. It's just like we have to pay for our flights. We have to pay for our travel. And that comes with sponsors, you know, sponsors. We got Cleveland Cornhole, Cleveland Baggers. We got, I got my jersey on, 1 to 21. I do a lot of charity work. So,
you're not going to mention Bush's Best Baked Beans,
Bush's Baked Beans is a national. This is a national spotlight jersey. This is one of my pro jerseys that I get to play with. And Bush's Baked Beans was our one of our big sponsors. We played Johnsonville. Bratwurst was another.
I seen on the screen that's going here on WOBL's YouTube page. You can watch Seto and I here at the Radio Ranch. We're having a ball talking about Seto's Cornhole Corner. What I wanted to ask you is, how do you balance your work, your life? Because you're not sitting at home throwing bean bags all day. You're not sitting here playing cornhole all day. You work.
That's the difference.
You have a wife, you have kids, you have a grandbaby. Yeah. I mean, you how do you balance all that to be a professional?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's just.
How do you find time? Like, do you have to carve out certain days, honey?
Well, well, let's say I've been married for close to 6 years now, and been with my wife for almost 8. And when she met me, she knew I was playing cornhole. So that was one of the things. Hey, babe, I want to be a pro. I want to do this. This is what's going on. So some of these things have to happen. So luckily, I owned my own business at the time, Amen Pest Control, and I was able to do those things with no problem. Didn't have to ask for vacation. I could just take off anytime I wanted to. Plus, I had a lot of good sponsors.
Yeah.
And having good sponsors helped pay for my way to get to where I had to get to and go to the places that I was able to go to. Now, I can tell you it's amazing because these places I went to, I probably would have never gone in my whole life. I mean, to be honest with you, like, I wouldn't go to Wichita, Kansas, just to go to Wichita, Kansas. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go to Utah just to go to Utah. Cherokee, North Carolina might have been a one on a spectrum that we would have went to. But Vegas, I probably would have never went to Vegas if it wasn't for Cornhole. So Cornhole does give us a great avenue and a great platform to do what we got to do. They're bringing sports people in. They brought Jersey Shore. So if you're a Jersey Shore guru and you guys were watching Jersey Shore, you got to see the Stimmets. The first 4 shows on Jersey Shore, the first 4 was dedicated to Cornhole.
Yeah.
Because Mike the Situation was on Cornhole. So we got to meet him. I got to take a picture with him.
That's cool.
I got to meet Tito Ortiz. Got to take a picture with him. And one of our guests that's coming on in the next month is going to be Craig Campbell, who is a country artist who does a lot of cornhole tournaments for his fundraisers. And he does a huge one during Country Fest. And so he comes up to Ohio. I met him through in California when I played and where I met Tito Ortiz, and we became friends. And so every time he comes up to Ohio, we hook up, we play cornhole.
We're going to get some music from him when we have him on the show for sure. We're definitely gonna spotlight some of his music. But when we come back, we'll talk some more about cornhole. We'll talk about the events that are coming up here in Northeast Ohio because it's almost that time. And then we'll get you guys caught up with some more news from the Cornhole Association. So we'll be right back with Seto's Cornhole Corner here on WOBL.
See you.
Are you looking for a fun new way to bring family and friends together? Triple Threat Cornhole has what you're looking for. Enjoy 4 different games on just one set of game boards, like TTC Traditional 21, TTC TTC 321, TTC Baseball, and TTC Football. Pick up your set of pro quality boards at allcornhole.com. That's allcornhole.com, the exclusive board manufacturer of Triple Threat Cornhole.
Don't let biased algorithms or degree screens or exclusive professional networks or stereotypes. Don't let anything keep you from discovering the half of the workforce who are stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time to tear the paper ceiling and see the stars beyond it. Find out how you can make stars part of your talent strategy at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
There's nothing like our Great Lakes. And thanks to Adopt a Beach volunteers, more of our shorelines are healthier, safer, and beautiful. Alliance for the Great Lakes wants you to join this movement with thousands of others that get out each year for beach cleanups that really make a difference. About 85% of beach litter is plastic, and with your help, we're cleaning it up. It's fun, easy, and means so much. Learn more at greatlakes.org/adopt. Join us on the beach.
For many servicemen and women, the battle doesn't end when they come home. And I know, because I too struggle with the invisible wounds of service. Pups for Patriots and Sam literally changed my life. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or a traumatic brain injury, go to AmericanHumane.org to learn more about the Pups for Patriots Service Dog Program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
A message from American Humane.
Welcome back to Seto's Cornhole Corner here on WOBL Radio 107.7 FM, AM 1320. We're streaming worldwide on WOBLradio.com. You can watch us. We are live here in studio. If you go to Facebook, you can look at our WOBL page. And if you go to YouTube, you can also watch us there on the WOBL YouTube page as we're breaking down the first inaugural show here on WOBL about Seto's Cornhole Corner. And we got a professional here to tell us all about the sport, and I think he's done a great job so far. He keeps asking us how he's doing. Man, you're knocking it out the park. So let's jump right into it. What are the events coming up here soon for Cornhole? How can people in Northeast Ohio and in Lorain County get involved?
So if you want to get involved, I would search clevelandcornhole.com. Go on there, go to tournaments on that website, and you guys can be able to get all your information on all tournaments. If you're friends with me, my name is Seto, Seto, Soto. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm on all the streaming stations. If you want to ask me questions, you can ask me questions offline. We will have the phones open here in the next shows coming up, so you can call in, ask questions, maybe get a chance to win a gift, maybe get a chance to win some swag, some hats from Average Joe's Cornhole. So if you guys see all that kind of stuff, you guys can tune in, listen, and that'd be a good way to do it. So Cleveland Cornhole is the EPA of all cornhole here related in Ohio. We also have Cincinnati Cornhole too, and we have East Side Cornhole, Rubber City Cornhole. We got Speakeasy, which is on the borderline of PA and Ohio. So all those you can go check them out. They're all over Facebook. So
when's the official season start for you guys?
We've already started, bro. We started.
What does it run year to year? Is it a whole calendar year?
It's plays indoor and outdoors. Okay. So we play all season round. So if the pro division starts next week, the national spotlight, the first national of the year, starts next week. So that is the very first one for all the nationals, for the pro division. So the 256 that we talked about, they will be battling it out there. And then we have shootouts, which brings in NFL players and stuff like that. Those are called shootouts. All the shootouts are played on CBS. Okay. So you can watch those.
Those are cool.
So the national, if you guys are listening and you want to hear, the nationals are being played in Corpus Christi, Texas. And you can tune in on that. And also, if you like DraftKings, you can bet on your favorite cornhole player. So if you want to go there and check on your favorite cornhole player, you can go on there and check it out. So I'm going to get you a date in a minute for the dates for the first national and let you know when you can watch it on ESPN and ESPN2.
And so you're gonna be heading down there, or?
I'm not heading down there for that right now because I was not feeling really well this year at all going into this new season, and some mishaps happened, and so I'm kind of like taking a year off, but I'm still playing in some of the tournaments, some of the opens, some of the tournaments that are out throughout the year, to get to the Championship of Bags in North Carolina and play in August to try to make it again. So there's a battle that you have to play in. It's a rigorous 8.5, 9-hour day playing cornhole. You play probably 20 games of cornhole. If you can make it all the way to the 10, you're probably playing 30 games of cornhole, you know what I mean? It's the gauntlet of all cornhole, and I'll tell you, it's a grueling day, you know, just to make it as a pro, because there's another 250, 300 players just playing to become a pro. You know, because it's so cool. It's so great. Everybody wants to be part of that.
So you talk about a grueling day, 8-9 hours throwing around the beanbag. That's 1 pound a lot of times. What kind of injuries come from this sport?
There's a lot of muscle spasms that happen. I know somebody.
I'm sure, like repetitiveness, man. That has to.
I think some rotator cuff issues, maybe possibly. If you're not stretching out enough, if you're not doing your things. I was playing in a tournament, and I know somebody left with an Achilles tear on their Achilles ankle. So I mean, it's a sport, right? With every sport, there's things that happens, right? You know, and so those are the things that happen. So, you know, with the national coming up, the kickoff battle is what it's off. So I'm going to look at the how do you watch? So give me a minute so we can turn on and tell you how to watch it. So it will be in Corpus Christi. Trying to get the info. Sorry, guys. Those that are listening. It's April 6th through the 9th is when it starts and kicks off. And you can watch it on ESPN on Saturdays and Sundays. So it'll be on there for you to watch. You can also watch it on the ACLDN network, which we have our own pro division network that you can watch. You can get it on your Hulu stations or whatever, on your streaming stations that you guys use. You can get it on there too. So, and we have ACL Cornhole TV. You can watch it on Facebook, CBS Network, and all ESPN channels.
That is a lot of coverage for a sport that is just blowing up right now, as we're talking to our American Cornhole League professional, Seto Soto, here on the Seto's Cornhole Corner debut show here on WOBL. We're going to be doing it once a month for an hour, just to get everybody caught up on the news in the cornhole world. And Seto's going to have some guests next month that will talk about the sport more in general. And today was just kind of a filler in and an introduction to our WOBL listeners. And so far, so good. As Seto told you, you can make almost $500,000 being a professional playing cornhole.
I think the highest player paid last year made over $100,000.
Wow.
And she was a woman. So when we say anyone can play and anyone can win, there you go. Like there's no intimidation.
Is there a women's division, or
there is a women's division too? So we do have women's division. We have co-ed division.
Okay.
We have men's division. We have senior division. We have youth division. So those are all the divisions we have. We also have teams that made up all different types of teams. So we have teams that make up 16 players.
Wow.
So Ohio and the Ohio Aviators is actually going to be playing on CBS on the 9th. So you'll be able to see a lot of players that some of them won't get TV time, but everybody will get TV time on the team. So all 16 players will be able to be seen on the TV network. So when you watch it on CBS or NBC or ESPN, you'll be able to see your hometown players.
Right.
You know, we get to watch, you know, guys like Timmy Jonas, Eric Anderson, you know, some of the top players, you know, Eli Stevens, Ken Allen, you know.
Who is the top dog in Ohio right now? If you had to, tilt your hat?
Oh, man. top player in Ohio.
Is there a ranking that comes out every few months?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
There is a ranking on all your players. I would say Adam Hissner's got to be one of the top players in Ohio. Adam Hissner's been playing for a very, very long time. He's on one of those upper echelon kind of guys. He can play on his knees. He can play a bag that throws backwards, sideways. He can roll them if he wants. He's got a great airmail. He's the one that I told you about that drinks with a cup in his hand
to balance himself out.
Yes, but I mean, we got guys like Eric Anderson, like I just mentioned, Timmy Jonas, that are knocking on the door too. Kevin Allen, who is an owner of Cleveland Cornhole, knocks on that door every day. And so we got Jeff Reynolds, who owns Reynolds Bags, who lives out in Garrettsford, who makes bags, one of the OGs of the sport as well, who can play at the top. We have Christine Papke, who was one of the best women in the world for a very long time. She just recently let go of her pro card and has some things that she's got to take care of. But we got Kimberly Glass, who's out in Columbus, St. Mary's area, who is coming into a zone as well in Ohio. So, I mean, we have...
It's a lot of ranked players, yeah.
It used to be Ohio was feared to play cornhole against Ohio players because Ohio was so deep in all the players. Chucky Love, who is an OG, whose story is unbelievable. The guy plays with a bullet in his body, and he's played. He's one of the top seniors.
That's got to be a show in its own right there, because you're going to have to talk about some of those guys.
He's going to be a guest on the show as well, because he's an OG. They're doing a lot of prison stuff right now. They go to the things just to give back, show them how to play cornhole, go to the jails.
Okay.
So there's a guy over there that's doing it with Chucky Love, and it's awesome. We got OGs like Gary Lewis, who can play like nobody else's business, who partnered up with Chucky Love just to do these kinds of ministries, and those ministries are cool.
When we come back, I want to ask you a couple questions. I want to see, do you prefer singles or doubles, better, or do you like, being by yourself, or do you like having someone else to help you? But we got one segment left here on Seto's Cornhole Corner. We'll be back to wrap things up here on WOBL.
TTS Custom Signs, your go-to veteran-owned small business for custom-made wooden signs. Please contact us on Facebook or Instagram at TTS Custom Signs, and we can come up with a design together.
Do you want to give back to an individual with disabilities and help change a life? The Guide Dog Foundation and America's Vet Dogs are seeking volunteers to help raise future guide or service dogs. Puppy raisers provide loving homes for puppies until they are old enough to begin formal training. Help raise an adorable pup into a future guide or service dog for a person who is blind, visually impaired, a veteran, or a first responder. Visit puppy.guidedog.org to learn more. That's guidedog.org. Sponsored by the Guide Dog Foundation.
At Doctors Without Borders, we believe the best medical care knows no boundaries. We responded to the pandemic around the world, including right here in the United States. Because of 6 million supporters who stepped up in this time of crisis, our teams could train health workers and vaccinate those in need. Independent and impartial, we respond at a moment's notice with medical care where it's needed most. We are Doctors Without Borders.
May is Arthritis Awareness Month, but the Arthritis Foundation fights for people with arthritis all year long with life-changing solutions and medical research while giving people ways to connect and break down barriers to care. Walk to Cure Arthritis creates community connections, tools, and resources and supports research for better treatments and a cure. Rock the walk and say yes to conquering arthritis. Register now at walktocurearthritis.org. Sponsored by the Arthritis Foundation, Inc.
Welcome back to Seto's Cornhole Corner. Hey, this is the last segment. It seems like I just started. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. I hope you guys understand cornhole is not just your backyard cornhole game anymore. This is a game that is exciting. You can watch it on TV, watch your great person that is from your community get up there and play battle on the boards. It is a sport, so there is some kinds of things like we were talking about that inhibit us to play. You know, some people get hurt, some people have rotator issues or that. So I advise you to go and get massaged at one of the events when we play. Go get a masseuse that's there hanging out for you so you can get massaged and lubed up and ready to go and play some more cornhole, right?
Who is somebody who mentored you or somebody that you looked up to when you were coming into this game?
There's so many.
Yeah, I figured. So go ahead and give some love to people that, you know, kind of put you under their wing and taught you the game of cornhole.
There's so much, and most of them are all Cleveland cornhole players because I'm from Cleveland and I play at the highest levels in Cleveland over here. I would say Chucky Love, the guy that I talked to, is a great mentor. Adam Hissner's another one that I looked up to. We have Dave Weiser, who was the originator of Cleveland Cornhole, who actually took it over from Jim and Michelle Cahill, who originally owned Cleveland Cornhole, and then Dave took it and made it as well as it is. And now Kevin Allen, Tim Hugert, and Dennis Fortney own Cleveland Cornhole. Now they're taking it to the next level as well. And all those guys, you can learn from everybody. I've learned from Tim Hugert, who brought me to his house one day, played cornhole for the first time in his backyard, and I'm like, what's going on with this? Oh, yeah, and then he told me, oh, they play at Flyers, and there's a league over there. And I'm like, a league for cornhole? What? Okay. Then I started playing, and then just got hooked, like, from day one, you know? And so there's a lot of guys. Damon Dennis, who is the senior champion, one of the senior champions as well. Frank Modlin out there. Brandon Corwin, country as heck, man. That dude is just awesome, you know. But there's a lot of guys. I can't just specifically say one person mentored me. Like, again, American Cornhole League players are like family, man. When there's something happening in somebody's world in cornhole, people just gravitate and come together. One of the reasons why I made 1 to 21 cornhole for charities, it's my nonprofit. It shares the community. I do these mystery boxes and give away a lot of stuff. One, because of the community, and because the American Cornhole gave us this platform, you know, and it's just like a NFL football player, baseball player. We do certain things.
You reap what you sow.
Absolutely, 100%.
So let's talk about that. What does that mean? What does 1 to 21 your nonprofit organization mean? What does it stand for? Talk about it.
1 to 21 Cornhole stands for community service. Anything, if you're hurting from cancer, if you're doing something you needed a car payment and you lost your job because of COVID, you needed grocery shopping. I mean, we did it all.
I've seen you furnish somebody's house. Is that for your nonprofit?
Yes, it is. We ask people to give, and some people do. The story about me is I'm a Christian, and I love God, and I gleam God everywhere that I go. And I think it's first and foremost why it's to God be the glory is my tagline for the 1 to 21, because without God, we're not worthy, right? And if you're listening and now and you're a good Christian guy or you're not, it's okay. I love you anyways. And I want to give to you and help you. My wife and I do a lot of fundraisers. We do cancer fundraisers throughout the year. I do one big one September 9th. If you're listening, September 9th. In Broadview Heights, I've been doing a big one. So, and that's open to anybody that wants to come. But the most part is to give back as much as we can. We gave probably $15,000 during COVID to people that had grocery issues and didn't have a job because of COVID, or they had to leave, or they got sick, or whatever. And we did that. We did mystery boxes. These mystery boxes have like $300 to $400 worth of stuff in it, and most of the stuff is like memorabilia, like cornhole bags or signed jersey by me or signed jersey by somebody else. We put it in there. We raise money. We help them out. We give that money to them, or we'll go grocery shopping with that money. And everything's accountability, right? So on Facebook, you can see all the accountability. You can see us take pictures of the groceries dropping off at somebody's door, because the last thing we need is somebody to say, oh, that's not going anywhere else. And so the accountability is there. So we want to make sure that you guys know 1 to 21 Charities is there for everybody and anyone that asks, or we pray about it, and next thing you know, it comes up, you know. And that's how it is. 1 to 21 is my baby. It's one of the things that I love. And if you get to know me and you know my love stretches the world like hands over fist, and that's what it is. That's what it's about. That's what life is about. It's about give back as much as you possibly can and gain nothing. If I leave this world with $0, I left the world smiling because I brought somebody to Christ or somebody came out of nowhere and asked. You said about the trailer. So I put a trailer together of furniture that we got from a lady named Denise, and she watched me on Facebook, and she watches what I do with the mystery boxes and this, that, and the other. And this lady may have known Christ or maybe not, but she bought her Bible for the first time. And she brought it home, and she's reading the Bible, and she gave all her furniture that to me was like brand new, like brand new. Like she owned a bed for 6 months. She gave it to us. She owned this couch or recliner for 6 months, and she gave it to us. And then another thing was like a year old and not even like old, not even used, you know what I mean? And she gave it to all of us. And we just went to a house in Akron and gave it to a lady that just got out of jail. She's been sober for 15 years, and she's living her life for Christ. So all that furniture went in her house, and it fit in perfectly. There was no hiccups or anything. Everything was blended into her house, and it was awesome. It was great.
And all that is because of Cornhole, how it's blessed you, and now you bless others.
Absolutely.
And that's how the world is supposed to work. You're supposed to do good for people in order to receive good back.
Absolutely.
And Cornhole is just one of those good things about you, Seto, as people can hear and see, as we're streaming live on Facebook on WOBL. We're also on WOBL's YouTube page, and then we thank our listeners here on AM and FM radio listening on WOBL radio. What do you think about the first show, man? I think we covered a lot of stuff, and I think it's just going to get better and build from here. You're going to be doing one show per month on the first Tuesday of every month. And then once things get going from there, we'll figure it out. But for there, so I know you got Craig Campbell coming up on the next show. Who else is going to be featured on this Seto's Cornhole Corner show?
So we got Craig Campbell coming on next, and we got Trey Ryder, who is the everything that there is to know about Cornhole.
Okay.
And so I wanted to bring him on the show because, one, he is the announcer, he's the commentary on ESPN, he is the everything around Cornhole. So all the things that you guys want to ask, tune into the third show, because you'll be able to ask him everything about Cornhole. You'll be able to know all the knowledge that he is. I mean, he's been with Cornhole since day one too, just like me, and he's grown into his job and role perfectly 100%. And I couldn't ask for a better guest to kick off the actually Cornhole segments that we're going to be doing, because he'll be on more than once. But, yeah, he's going to be on. And then we got some local cats that are going to be on. I think Chucky Love, I told you, will come on. We got another couple bag companies that will be coming on. Cornhole Solutions, the guy that makes boards, he'll be coming on too. So just some local guys. And if you're not even a local pro player, you're going to get some notoriety on this show too as well, because we want everyone and anyone can play, anyone can win. I'm going to talk to Sandra Prinky, see if we can get her on here, and pray for that family. She had 2 trees on her son's house that just destroyed the house. So pray for them as well, because I know they're going to be reaching out and asking for help. And we're going to be right there at the doorstep just trying to help out.
We'll give some stuff away, because I know you wanted to give some gifts away coming up in some other shows. And maybe we'll even get interactive and have some of the callers from Lorain County give us a call in and talk to you personally with some of the guests, and maybe pick your brain on a question that they have about Cornhole. So all those are in the works for the future.
Absolutely. Be the 21 caller, the 21st caller.
Sorry, David Q, but
only because my number's 21 and I've always used 21. But no, it won't be like that. It'll be the 5th caller, the 6th caller, whatever. But we can't hurt the guy over there running the board. Oh, 21. What am I doing? No, it's all good. Hey, and the one thing is, I got to leave you with this. If you call in either next time I'm up and you have the phone and you can get my tagline, you will be the first winner, and that winner will get a mini board, which is $175 if you can understand my tagline. And I'll say my tagline is "To God be the glory." And if you're the first person on that and you can be the 5th caller.
So write it down, because you got a month before the next show. So write it down. What Seto's tagline is, you could win a $175 mini board, courtesy of Cornhole Solutions.
Cornhole Solutions.
Of course. Thank your sponsors, because you have a lot of them, and then we'll wrap this show up.
Hey, I want to thank Cleveland Cornhole first and foremost. BG Cornhole, bgcornhole.com. Go check them out. Cornhole Solutions out of Tennessee. Cornholesolutions.com. Go check them out. Spark Apparel. Spark Apparel will be all my apparel line, my jerseys, a lot of that stuff. Jersey Guy. Also out of California, the Jersey Guy is another guy that I do jerseys with as well. I want to mention him too. Rubber City Cornhole out in Akron area. They're doing a great job. Gladiator Cornhole. That dude, Brandon Navarro, is just like my next cat. That is just amazing and awesome and wonderful. And I also want to make sure that you guys know his image, my brother's apparel line, Triple Threat Cornhole, and the ACL. Don't forget about the ACL. Go check them out. iPlayCornhole.com for all your national coverage, open coverage, shootout coverage, CBS, NBC, ESPN. We are coming in your house, and we're going to invade by you guys watching Cornhole. So just make sure you guys check it out. And don't forget Seto's Cornhole Corner on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WOBL streaming. And go check out their Twitter page, Instagram page, all those pages too as well. And thank you, Dave, and all of WOBL.
Thank you, because this is your show, and like I said, I just wanted to come on to kind of introduce our listeners to Cornhole, and you made me feel welcome, and you made it feel real easy to talk about something that I really am not an expert in, but I'm glad you're a professional. So
I just want you guys to know that when you're on the show and you're listening to us, we're talking just like real talk. This is a real conversation. I don't want you guys to feel like you're ever being interviewed by anybody. I want it to feel like you're just next door. You're my friend. You're my best friend, and I want you to feel at home. And that's what it makes me feel like when I come here to WOBL, and Gary makes me feel like I'm at home. So thank you for tuning in to Seto's Cornhole Corner. We are out. Peace, love, and happiness. And remember, to God be the glory.
The proceeding was a paid informational program. The views and opinions expressed were not necessarily those of the staff, management, or advertisers of WOBL Radio.